And a very solemn good afternoon to you, everybody, on this Tuesday afternoon, the very, very first day of October 2024. We're grateful to have you on this special. We're only going to be on about a half hour. We got full coverage tonight coming at 8 o'clock, and then probably again late tonight. And we may have this my dear friend on both shows, depending on if he can stay up with us that long. But I want to thank Jeemes Akers. I know it's in the middle of the afternoon. I'm not going to keep him long. I wanted to get some thoughts. James, we got some breaking news just within the last hour. What we know, at least 400 missiles are inbound from Iran to Israel, and there's also been a terrorist attack in Tel Aviv that there has been at least 70 people injured, maybe some deaths, where they're executing innocent people. And buddy, we're on the brink of war, and this is coming on. We're just 6 days away from the 1 year, or 9 days away, or 7 days away from the year anniversary of this terrible, terrible October the 7th attack. And what's your thoughts, man? You've been giving me updates, but how does Jeemes Akers feel about it? This is what we've been predicting, man. We predicted this last night before we left the air, didn't we?
We did. My phone started a couple hours ago lighting up like a Christmas tree with some live things coming in, and a good Christian brother that's on the ground in Israel that sends updates to people with photos of what's going on. He was saying they heard explosions everywhere. There were some missiles above Dimona, which is their the Israeli secret nuclear site. And right now, it seems like the Iranians have stopped launching their the volleys of missiles because the coalition, if you remember the last time that Iran tried that sort of attack with drones and missiles and this, that, and the other, there's a coalition that actually had been put together as early as the Trump years of neighbors of Israel, and evidently that coalition kicked in again, and so a number of these missiles were knocked down before they entered Israeli territory. Good. And I think the Iranians are stopping to take stock of, and they're probably ducking for cover because I think Israel's getting ready to launch a major strike on oil facilities.
Yeah.
And it remains to be seen if the United States joins in with that sort of attack on Iran.
Well, that's the $1 million question. Not to interrupt you, but we noticed last night before I went to bed, there was a story that popped up about the U.S. military. They've sent forces over there, James. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You keep talking after I say this, but what do you know about our presence? Because I understand that we've sent an increased presence over the last few days there.
Oh yeah, there's a major carrier task force on the way. I'm not sure they're in position yet, but there is one at least standing off the coast in the Mediterranean, and of course we have some assets in the middle of the Indian Ocean, sort of long range assets, and so it will be interesting. This is a sort of a golden opportunity to put Iran back in the box if they choose to do it. And if tradition holds, the United States will let the Israelis bear the brunt of the action, and they will take the opportunity to hit the Houthis and a couple of these other Iran-sponsored groups in Iraq and Syria. So everybody's just sort of, this is the first wave, the first foot. The Ayatollah, like we talked about last night, is reportedly been whisked off to a safe place. And these terrorist incidents are starting to happen on the ground in Israel. Now, what we really need to watch is if You know, there has been a ton of speculation over the years that the Iranians have built all of these terror cells in our own country, and they are just waiting for the button to be pushed by the mullahs before they kick into gear. And so if you have some of these terrorists going off in Tel Aviv, it's going to be interesting to watch Michigan and a couple other areas
correct
in our own country to see if anything happens.
I don't want to, because we got a lot to talk about tonight, and I don't want to keep you, but about 10 more minutes today. I just want you to come on and give us a summary, but I do got two very, very important questions relating to this. Number one is about Joe Biden. What have you taken away from the change of tone with him over the last 48 hours? You know, he was railing when those pager attacks went, and throwing shade and just cursing Israel to the world's face at the UN. Blaming Israel for Hamas, blaming Israel for Hezbollah, blaming Israel for everything. And now all of a sudden, today, it's like Joe Biden has found Jesus, that we support the ground invasion at Israel. Does this go to what you were saying, that they want Israel to do their heavy lifting? Do you think that we're going to help them because there is a part of the Democrat Party, Jeemes, that is wanting to do an arms embargo against the Israelis to keep her, basically tie her hands in this fight? And I'm going to tell you something. If they do that, God help this country. God help the United States of America if we stand in the way of her fighting against her enemies right now. Because this is war. This is no big look. We don't come on in the middle of the day for no small reason. This is a big deal. And regardless of what happens over the next 12 hours or 24 hours, the Middle East has got the potential to go up in smoke today in a way that we've not seen probably since 2006, when Israel last invaded Lebanon, and that ended quickly. But this has got the potential to draw in a lot of other players, at least potential.
Yeah, and I am not privy to the intel that's floating around right now, but there has been a bit of a change of course. Certainly, there's some separation between what the military planners are suggesting and what the politicians would like to do.
Right.
And so we're going to have to see how it plays out. If I am anywhere close to an oil refinery in Iran, over the next 15 to 24 hours,
yeah,
I am separating myself as much as I can.
I would strongly suggest it.
I think it's coming. The Israelis are going to respond. The question is, will they be limited in their response by concerns that they won't have the backing of the United States, or is the United States going to just sort of just sort of make all this public noise, but privately we're going to support everything they do over there.
Yeah, but James, but friend to friend, man to man, do you not think that's cowardly that we trash her publicly? Because look, the statements that come out of this White House publicly matter. Like, if we don't stand strong in the face of this terrorism and clearly define who's the terrorist and who's not, and that's what infuriates me, that you've got even Christian voices in this country that are questioning whether Israel has a right to do anything in retaliation against Hamas from a year ago. You've got Christian voices over here that probably today are saying, well, those poor Hezbollah terrorists and those poor people in Lebanon. Well, I tell you what, the poor people in Lebanon was harboring one of the worst terrorist groups in the Middle East, an Iran proxy. And if you don't verbally make it morally clear, James, who is wrong in this and who is right, the Middle East will continue to do this, because all the terrorists are going to do, they're going to say, hey, America don't care about Israel, so we can go do our thing. I don't care what we're telling them privately. I could care less. I care about what our government is saying publicly, because it matters, does it not?
Well, it does, and they as of now, there are just so many calculations, political calculations going on within primarily the Democratic Party that makes a solid public stand almost impossible at this point. And the reality of the situation is Israel can't afford to play around and play games.
They cannot.
This is an existential matter to them. They have to survive, or else they are going to be eliminated to the last Jew. If the Arabs had their choice, and so it's interesting, and yet apparently. And now I've just seen one report on it, Chris, but apparently this coalition that was sort of put together with gum and wire, a few years ago,
yeah,
has held, and a lot of these missiles were shot down east of Israel, or
right.
At least that's what, unless it's wishful thinking, that's some of the reporting that's coming in now.
Yeah.
But I agree with you absolutely. We are approaching a precipice now that we have not seen in several years. And it will not take much to push one party or the other over the cliff. And like it or not, we're going to be hanging on to the heels of somebody. And we could be looking at widespread war in the Middle East, over the next 24 to 36 hours, I think.
And that leads me to my next question. I'll let you wrap us up. We'll talk about this more tonight, buddy. And I deeply, deeply appreciate you. I owe you another baseball game and a hot dog for this one today. I appreciate you. We'll have to make it up to you in the spring, or maybe a football game. But where does the United States ultimately land in this? Does this draw us into the Middle East, Jeemes?
Well, I think we're drawn into it. I think Biden at the beach would have liked to have avoided this, but now it's on his doorstep, and we're paying the price
for poor leadership
of showing weakness.
Yes,
that allowed all of these enemies of Israel to sort of show their hand, and now that Israel's responded. There's a considerable part of the U.S. political polity that doesn't like it, but we have no choice, it seems to me, but to support Israel in all of this.
Buddy, we've got a moral, a spiritual, and I think a political need to do all three of the above, and I really do. Listen, enjoy your family this afternoon. I'll see you tonight around 8 and maybe again late tonight, but appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm going to let you go now. Thank you for the update, and we'll take it from here, but God bless you, friend. I'll see you tonight, okay?
Okay, always a pleasure, Chris.
See you later. Thank you, Jeemes.
You bet.
Jeemes Akers, everybody, thank you for him. He was with his family, and he took 15 minutes out of his time. I begged him for 15, and he acquiesced. Thank you for that. Put some fire in that house for him. He's such a good man. I'm very proud to know him as my friend, and so forth. We were actually, I literally talked to Ruth Lundy, 40 minutes ago, maybe 35 minutes ago, and I said, can you take a phone call? And Ruth said, no offense, buddy. She says, I'm in a bomb shelter right now, and Ruth Goodenheim's in the bomb shelter right now too. So they are hovering down. I sent a message to my friend Ian Norton this morning in Jerusalem. He's got a little gift shop downtown, right in downtown Jerusalem, and I have not heard back from him at all. We were hoping to get somebody from there. We've got a new friend that's going to be coming on probably Thursday night. Everything, look, this change the game. It's a game changer this afternoon, folks. We were going to have certain guests tonight. We probably have moved them. We're going to have to move them to another time. We're going to give you full coverage of this. What you've been watching at times is the live coverage from I-24 TV. This is out of Israel. We've not had the sound up, but you can see the launches of the missile attacks right there. Massive missile attacks. That's footage from tonight. It's nighttime in Israel. Look at that. Look at that barrage right there. looks like those rockets are hitting somewhere. Now, it looks like some of them are detonating in the sky. But I hope, as James said, and he said it was wishful thinking, that hopefully maybe this this effort to that's incredible, right? To look at that video there, my goodness. Central Israel residents have been advised to remain near shelters until further notice. This is live coverage right now in Tel Aviv. It's roughly 10 o'clock over there tonight, 10:43 into the night, and this gives. I tell you what, this gives chilling. This reminds me so much. I was a news reporter. I just started at the newspaper when the Iraq Scud missiles hit Israel. I was sitting at the house watching the television that night, and it was a chilling thing to watch those missiles come in at night. They always seem to do these things at night, and that's live coverage that you're watching there. And we're going to continue to keep it on there. We're going to come back over here to it for a minute. They're talking right now. She's talking to some folks right there. We may just listen in here in a little bit. But I want to talk to you right now. We'll keep checking in. The other story that me and James didn't get to talk about, I want to talk about. There's been a terrorist attack in Tel Aviv, and let me see if I can pull that story up. And so forth. And please, folks, do not be putting any unsubstantiated claims in the chat room about who's helping who. We'll talk about that tonight. Let the people on the show do that. You just listen. If you got a question about what's going on or a prayer, that would be helpful right now. Eagle, you said, I thought we were helping Israel shoot down the missiles, but the United States is doing nothing. Well, Eagle, we're not sure what we're doing, and that's what James was saying. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. I think publicly we're saying one thing, privately we're saying another thing, and look, it's hard to say what we're doing. I mean, for all we know, we're not doing nothing, but who knows, we may be giving them arms. I don't know, but publicly I can tell you we're not helping. And I will say this, it burns me up that Joe Biden was on a blanking beach, knowing this was imminent. He knew this was imminent. Kamala Harris, I understand there's a story we got out tonight. You know what she was doing this weekend while this country was underwater? She was partying. There was nobody in the White House worrying about anything. And I got to say this, I saw a post today, and people were saying, well, we give all this money to Israel, but we don't help our own citizens. And they had the floodwaters, the pictures of the floodwaters over these cities. I got a little Bible nugget for my folks. My Bible students just heard me rant and rave this morning, so they're getting a freebie today. Let me just give you a little heads up, neighbor. We probably wouldn't have to be dealing with water under our cities if we had been treating Israel right to begin with, because I'm going to tell you something. We're on the curse side of Genesis 12:3 this afternoon. We're on the curse side, and we've been on the curse side for a long time with this administration because we've done nothing to stand up to this terrorist attack. We knew Hezbollah was going to do what they were going to do. We knew Iran had the possibility to do what they were going to do. We knew Hamas was a terrorist threat, but instead of helping Israel fight terror, we condemned her, and we cut her hands underneath her, and we basically cut her legs out from underneath her, and we tied her hands from fighting terrorism. So now we've got the United States on the brink of getting involved in a Middle East war. Because, folks, I'm going to tell you something. If this escalates, there's no way the American government cannot stay out of this. We just can't. We'll have to get involved. And that's going to involve your sons and daughters. But you can thank the piss-poor leadership in Washington, D.C., and Lloyd Blanken Johnson and whoever the Secretary Blinken is, Blinken, about the same thing, for having their heads up their asses and not being on alert to what was going on in the freaking Middle East, because we're more worried about pronouns than we are security in this country. And I've got a little fire. This ain't even my regular show. This is my update show. So you can come back and get some more of this tonight. But Israel is at war because we have not helped her. We've not helped her fight her enemies, and her enemies are going to become ours very soon, folks. You can mark that down. So, Eagle, I don't know what we're doing, but I tell you what. Thanks to the piss poor leadership in Washington D.C., I guarantee you we'll have to do something. We'll have to do something, and so forth. And I'll amen myself. I'll amen myself. Ho, ho, ho. Jennifer, how will this affect the election? Could this war be the October surprise? I don't know, Jennifer. I don't know how it's going to affect the election. I tell you what, if somebody that has a brain looks at this and they think that if they want to continue to see this kind of stuff go on, and I'm not saying Trump can stop all of it, but I will guarantee you this: I do not believe in my heart of hearts, that this would have happened had President Trump been in office. They would have attempted it. They may have thought about it. They may have been sitting around drinking gin and playing cards with cigars in the Middle East and saying, boy, it'd be good if we could do this to Israel and bomb her and do this massacre. I wonder what we could do. I guarantee you they would have had it in their mind that there was an American president over here that gave a damn about Israel and that he would protect Israel at all costs. And I can guarantee you, when Hamas did what they did on October the 7th, I'll guarantee you that the American government would have intervened and they would have helped Israel and not condemned Israel for what happened. And we may not even be here right now. But I want to say it again, folks. The reason, partly, that our cities are underwater right now is because we're on the curse side of Genesis 12 and 3. And we don't even realize it. Now, I know that's not a popular belief. That's not popular, and that's not going to gender a lot of goody-goody two-shoes from the numbskullery, dumb-foolery prophetic community that's got their brains on meth. Because everybody wants to condemn Israel for what's happening. Let me tell you something, folks. Israel may be away from God, and you Bible students, I'm sorry, I was a little wired up this morning. Now you know why, right? We were talking about this very thing this morning on the Bible study. Israel may be away from God, but she's not left God's care. Don't ever forget that. And this country is going to reap a whirlwind of hell for the way we've treated her over these last 4 years. You mark this broadcaster's words. I know. And let the memes begin and let the trashing begin. And that's all right. And I'll just say that. Anyway. And I don't care about the New World Order, sunshine. It's not about the New World Order. Anyway. No, this is about poor leadership. Piss poor leadership in Washington, D.C. All right. It is 5 to 2. I'm going to, what I'm going to do for the next 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to listen in, okay? This Tel Aviv shooting, they're reporting on it. I want you to listen. I'm going to turn the volume up and let you listen to a little bit of bonus coverage. This is from I-24 TV. This is out of Tel Aviv.
From Iran or from any other of Iran's proxies, but also to remain vigilant following this terror attack in Tel Aviv, a terror attack that has concluded with the death of both terrorists and the investigation ongoing. Not yet clear at this point if they were part of any organized terror organization. We do know that as initial reports came out of this attack, Hamas issued a statement calling on its supporters around the world, in Israel, in the West Bank, to not only show support in protests and in marches in solidarity as we approach the 1-year mark to their October 7th massacre in Israel, but also to use this opportunity to carry out further attacks on Israeli civilians and security personnel. And so even it could emerge that these terrorists were part of Hamas. I think the close proximity of the timing could indicate as such. But regardless, this attack came on a part of a clear campaign of incitement on the part of Hamas, other Palestinian terror organizations, to try and bring out more terror attacks because they're limited to what they can do militarily against Israel. In Gaza, they continue to try and use their local population there as human shields, and now calling on others to do the work for them. And so, again, we don't know at this point if the two terrorists were directly affiliated to Hamas or any other Palestinian terror group. The fact that they were armed with what appears to be military-grade assault rifles could indicate that they did have some sort of backing, organized backing, but regardless, this comes as Hamas continues to call on Palestinians to carry out attacks on Israel. And as we approach the 1-year mark to the October 7th attacks, such calls are going to continue. And I'm now getting an update that it is not 8 people killed in the Tel Aviv attack, but rather 6. This is an update coming from emergency services.
We can see emergency services on the scene still there in Jaffa. 6 lives lost in this terror attack. People in the light rail, civilians inside the light rail, outside the light rail, their lives taken by terrorists on this day. Less than 24 hours until the Jewish New Year starts and the start of what we call the High Holy Holidays. It certainly doesn't feel like much to celebrate right now. Yaakov, I want to come back to you. Not only do we start...
You're watching a very special live coverage. That is I-24 TV. Now, we'll chime back in. They're talking about the High Holy Days. I want to come back because we're almost done. We got about 5 minutes. We're going to cover this fully tonight at 8 o'clock. James will be back with me. I'm going to try to get Brad Johnson on the phone with us. Going to try to get somebody from Israel if we can. Can't promise that because it'll be past midnight. But when I see these things, folks, it's terrible. Grateful that the death toll was 6, not 8. This is a troubling thing. This is a big deal today. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. And these Rosh Hashanah holidays, it was October the 7th. It was the very last day of the Feast of Trumpets last year that we were on a Saturday. I never will forget it. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and we came on with this horrible, horrible, horrible attack. And 1,615 people have been killed, and there's still 101 hostages. We have no idea. And some of those are Americans as of day 354. We need to pray for the peace of Jerusalem this afternoon. We need to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Jennifer says, will they do anything within the next 24 hours with the holiday coming up? I don't know. I don't know if they will or not. But I will tell you this, they got to. I don't think the high holidays are going to make a difference. That's why these Arabs do this stuff. They know it is a high holy day. They know it is a sacred time on Israel's calendar. They know exactly what they're doing. They're not dumb. And I think Iran was just sort of waiting for Israel to make the move after the Hezbollah situation and the pagers going off. And there's video. I do want to show you something. I think it's on this page I've got here. I'll show it to you tonight. We've actually got a video to show you of one of the pager attacks that took place in Lebanon back on the 25th. Beep, beep, boom. Beep, beep, boom. All right. I want us to do this afternoon before we leave you. I'm going to have a word of prayer of our nation. We need to pray for Israel, folks. We need to pray for our country. If we don't get some leadership in that White House soon, more of this is coming. And I will tell you this, our sons and daughters are going to pay a steep price for this, and your grandkids and my grandkids. That's what scares me. I would be praying for your country this afternoon like you never have, because it needs it, and Israel needs it too. Heavenly Father, as we go out of here today, thank you for this time together. Lord, I pray for the peace of Jerusalem. I pray for your soon return. Lord, I pray you protect the Israeli citizens that are under fire today. I pray that you, Lord, regardless of what dome is protecting them in the physical, Lord, put a spiritual dome around them. And Father, I pray that you help them get through this, give the government of Israel wisdom how to handle this in a way that would be necessary to protect the citizens. And Father, I just thank you for blessing Israel right now and protecting her. Lord, more importantly, help this country see our need to bless that nation and not curse her. Publicly, Lord, and fully, without reservation, and help her in a time of trouble. Help her in her time of trouble. And we thank you for that. We pray for these victims, Lord, of this hurricane still reeling a week after it's happened, almost. And I pray for the terrible loss that has occurred in Asheville, North Carolina, and other cities here in the East and the South. And I pray, Lord, for your blessing to return to America. But Lord, I pray that we see our need for blessing and our reason for blessing and our hope for blessing lies in the way we treat your people, the people of God in Israel that may be away from you, but they've not left your care. And Father, I thank you for that, and I praise you for your goodness and grace in Jesus' name. I will see you tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, the Lord willing. Not sure who we'll have on, but we will be giving you full coverage of this. This will be our story today. I want to thank all of you. I want to really thank all the X people. We had a record crowd in there. Again, I want to salute you guys. I really appreciate y'all joining us over there on X. We had over 215 people. You YouTubers that better get your game on. You better up your game because they're beating you now over on X. But we're grateful for you being with us on this Breaking News Tuesday. Sadly, not for the reason why we're on here, but thank you for being with us and letting us give you our thoughts. We'll take your thoughts and questions again tonight, both early and late. It's going to be one of those days. I can see it. May the Lord bless you. I'll see you tonight, okay? God bless, friend.